wonderful day, evening, night. We're going to go ahead and do the trade view right now as I didn't get time to do it this morning. So we're going to start here on the monthly look as we do every single day. We're going to take a peek here at the ES. We'll go ahead and load some studies real quick. Stream studies. See what is all right. So we can see on the monthly, I guess we can go ahead and watching this. On the monthly, we are still making lower highs. You can see that the market is, basically from the all-time high. We have been making these kind of lower highs. We've got excess here. We're coming into the end of the month today. A little bit of excess on the low, right? It'd be nice or a little bit more bullish to see if the market rallied up and closed. I'd like to see the market up here around this 3,700-ish level as the day gets to the end of the day in order to kind of maybe look for some more upside. Not saying that that's what's going to happen, but that would be the best case scenario if the market was going to go up. Of course, we want to pay attention to what's actually going on. The trend is down here. We do have the 50 monthly SMA sitting at that 35.23. So any breach of yesterday's low and that I think it's the 23. We'll have to look at the Globex low. I think it's actually the 13. Any breach of that 13, it seems like we might start unwinding and start heading below those sub 3,500 levels. Switch over to the weekly, we can see that the weekly is one time framing down for 3 weeks in a row. Very close to that 200 SMA on the weekly. 35.86 is that level here. So that'll be something if we do breach the lows today that we'll be paying attention to. I'm really watching last week's low, which is that 36.60 level. And I think that would be a decent level for the market to try to establish above if it's going to, try to continue any upside. We do have these kind of single prints on a weekly chart, right? And that kind of shows us where, these people that were long in here are still trapped up here. We still have a gap ahead when we switch to the daily chart. I think this is on the extended hours here. So we can see the gap here. We can really see a balance forming, right? I mean, this is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 day balance now. 1 day of upside, 1 day to try the upside, and then a complete reversal yesterday, and then turned all the way back down to the low after selling off a little bit in Globex. So, I still say that the market is basically in balance, and we kind of see these consecutive lows, and this is something I refer to as an equilibrium here. Morning Bitbeard, morning Zoe. So we have very common levels here. You got the open here, close, close, close. And so this is something of kind of an equilibrium. It kind of shows us that the market is in agreement on that price. And that's kind of something that I tend to look for as, as the session trades on. Are we going to be above these levels or below? And this kind of puts us around a 36.70 to that 36.55 level. Morning, Peter. Morning, VJ. And so these are kind of that level, I guess you could say, is kind of the key level I'm looking for the market to be above here. The market's pretty much trading right at that level right now, trading 35.55. So let's get 35.55 to 35.70. If the market can get above that and start to establish some good momentum, then there's opportunity for the upside. If not, that's pretty much where we'll be seeing a rejection, and we're kind of seeing it now. Now the market's selling down here about well, I mean, still right at that level. Looks a lot more. Okay, so now we want to do a couple of other things before we take a peek at our TPO. We're going to look at the uh, testing.com. Fucking ads. And so we can see we had the personal spending month over month came out this morning, and the PCE that came out, and it actually came out higher. This is kind of a good news is bad news type situation. We saw the market, I mean, really just, but it dropped from 74 to 41 in 1 minute, it looks like. So a pretty big drop. And then right now, we've got Fed Brainerd, Mester, and Williams all on the mic. So we'll be just watching Twitter to see if anything interesting comes out with their, nonsense, basically. We've got Chicago PMI today. We've got Michigan consumer sentiment today. We've got the Dallas Fed PCE. We've got Michigan inflation expectations. And this is all basically within the first hour of the market opening up. So there's an opportunity for the market to be a little bit volatile. And then we have, just our COTs at the end of the day. And then Williams is going to be speaking overnight over the weekend. Don't we like Forex Factory for news? BTC on the move to the downside. US Brinks open. I mean, you could use Forex Factory for news. This is just what I use. I market diary, and so we can see here yesterday's volume was relatively similar, right? Overall, a little bit less, right? 3 million less, nothing really too crazy. The big difference here is our declines versus advances, right? Basically just, kind of flipped over. The volume remained the same, but everything that went up the previous day went down, and then everything that was going up went down. So, kind of just a little flip-flop action there, nothing really too crazy. We had the trend close up at a 1.0, which is not super great. No real big trades coming in. A lot of the volume mostly came in on the downside, which is, basically the same. But you do see a bigger increase on advancing volume yesterday. So the things that were going up yesterday seem to get a bit more volume. Then I like to look over here at the map and then just look at the year-to-date performance, and we can see Apple finally almost down to that 20% bear market level that everyone kind of talks about. Morning, Jamie. And we can see, I mean, Google's down to 30, Tesla's below 20, Amazon 30, Microsoft's almost at 30, Meta's, 50 below here, almost 60. You can see healthcare, Lilly was up 19% yesterday. That's why that short was doing so poorly for me. Or 19% year to date, I mean, not yesterday. But you can see, I mean, pretty much besides energy and healthcare, we've got a lot of red going around the board, and Apple's getting down to that 20% level. And then the title of the video is that will a short squeeze on Apple cause the market to rally, right? And I think a lot of people kind of are short on Apple right now, and we might be getting ready to see some of that close. Well, I mean, Apple's kind of the leader of the market, and betting against Apple's kind of betting against the entire S&P. But it's it's interesting to look, as I think a lot of people are shorting Apple right now. Whatever happened to C-130? I mean, he decided to leave, um, and he said he's teaching the TPO on TikTok, an expert now. So if you want to learn from an expert on TPO, jump over to TikTok, find his channel, and he has a Discord and everything. But yeah, I mean, he left on his own free will. He decided he didn't want to do it. he's a young kid, and he was going through a little bit of problems at the time. So he was a, I mean, we used to be friends, but kind of fell out recently after he lied to me. But anyways, overnight session. Well, actually, I got to update these. Update the settle and stuff. I didn't get a chance to do any of this morning. Settle yesterday was. Morning, Stacy. Morning, Lecker. Settle was 36.54 quarter. Morning, Adam. Yeah, we did. We had a great thing going. I thought too. Yeah, I thought that as well. But people changed, I guess. We're gonna go ahead and just delete this. Actually, we're not gonna need the last today, because halfback and the last are pretty much the same. The last trade was 58.75, and then we have the halfback 59.75. So I just have these previous lows marked. This 12.75 is the low of Globex, right? If we open up, we can see that Globex low, so we'll have that marked. I'm just gonna leave that line on there just so we can see where that's at should we trade below yesterday's low. So for the most part, overnight inventory is, starting to become a little bit more balanced, but for the most part, it is net long, right? A lot of inventory up over the night. We're getting a little bit of a correction already as, before the market opens because of that data, most likely. And you can kind of see this is where the market was at. And it doesn't really do it justice, I guess, because, these are 30-minute bars. But the market made this move from about 74 down to about 40 in 1 minute. That's a pretty significant move. Pretty big liquidation, right? Didn't even hesitate at the point of control, just traded right down through it, put in some excess, and then kind of is bouncing and forming at the low. The key takeaway really is that we're still inside yesterday's range, so there hasn't been any big money in the overnight session for the most part. We have, basically balancing at these lows. Remember, we're talking about this 36.70 level. Where's 70 at? 36.70 to 36.55 is kind of the key level, I think, that the market's really going to need to establish above. And we can see, kind of why all of these previous lows and stuff are right here. But we need to see the market establish above this level and start to look up into the highs if it wants to get anything going up on the upside. If not, we'll probably just see the market will kind of continue to break down as it has been the past past. How far back does this go? Let's see. Where's that high at? Since September 9th, right? So since the second week of September. Today is the last day of the month, and it's the last day of the quarter. That's just a key note. Just because, a lot of times last day of the month, they try to save their balance sheets. Big money will. And so, just something to at least take note of and be aware of, right? If we get low volume, going to kind of give us an indication that there's no big money in the market, and probably hedge funds and some other, larger ish money are trying to hold the market up as much as they can. There is a put wall down here on the SPY. We do have a pretty decent amount of options expiring here today, but not really anything compared to last month. And oops, and not really not really anything compared to the next month either, right? Next month we have a really big options expiry coming in October. There's going to be a lot of volume that comes out, and so that'll be something to pay attention to. But this month there's really not a ton of options expiring here. What's it doing here? Um, weird. Certain- Maybe we're. Oh, that's why. Okay, so yeah, here it is. It's that 3660 level. Really, the 3650 is that big level on the SPY. 3660 is yesterday's low. Um, we can see the SPY, even though on the futures we broke the low 929, this is 929. The real low was set down there in that Globex session. We pop this thing out. We can see right there, right? And so that will be kind of the first level. If we start to get under that level, I think there is a lot of people that are short that level. So I don't, I don't really see us. I don't really seeing that being a possibility. I think a lot of people are uh, have sold this 3050 level, kind of expecting us not to get below that level. So if there was a breach of this 3050, that could be like a limit down day or a really big dramatic move to the downside, and could be, that could spell some trouble for the market if that were to happen. So we kind of eyeing in this level today. Um, I'll be watching it for sure, and we'll just pay attention to it. So starting off with the dollar here, right? Dollar trying to climb up a little bit, not really making um, anything too crazy. We're gonna go ahead and remove studies. These were for when we're on daily. Okay. Um, yeah, so dollar trying to make a move up overnight. Still, I mean, still pretty beat down for the week. The Australian dollar, just looking just not good. Oh, that's the okay. There we go. The euro, right, trying to get back above that dollar mark. It was up at the 99. Bitcoin's making a little bit of a move down, but still holding yesterday's low. You can see it's been kind of making these higher lows all week. Um, Still struggling here to get back to that 20. It did hit the 20K this week, but still kind of struggling. Oil right at the Biden level where the $80 he said he's going to refill the SPR. Um, yeah, I still do the trade room Bitbeard. I mean, it's just this right here. This is the trade room. I just have a zoom on the side, like, so people can ask questions instead of having to type. But yeah, it's the same idea. Just makes it easier. It's not. It doesn't. It's free. I made everything free after I took over. Um, yes, we already looked at gold trying to catch a little bit of a bid, and we can see gold has actually been doing okay this week or into the latter parts of the week. Bonds actually trying to catch some upside here. Apple, right, has been beat down pretty bad this week. It's going to be opening up inside yesterday's range. We have that zero gamma level at 150. And if there is a short squeeze in Apple and people are a little bit too short, we could see a decent sized rally in Apple into the next coming month and be something that we just want to pay attention to. AMD right above that zero gamma level, right below that zero gamma level, excuse me. So if AMD is able to climb above 65, we can expect some market makers to be buying AMD, which could cause chip makers to catch a little bit of a pop. Amazon trading right inside its previous day's range. Google doing the same thing, but Google actually looking a little bit stronger than the others. Meta, didn't go down as far as everything else did, but still kind of holding right above that 135 level. That'll be a key level to watch. Microsoft still looking, a little bit stronger than everything else as well. Netflix, after that gigantic move up to get above the high, really had a pretty much a full 180. Came back down, took the low, but is trading back inside yesterday's range. Nvidia looks a little bit weaker. Roach, good morning. Looks a little bit weaker than AMD, but still sitting above that 120. So we'll have to kind of watch that level. This will be kind of a push pull between AMD today. And Tesla, last but not least, is looking very, very weak, trading below its low as we're going on right now. So very interesting look from Tesla, right? They struggled, or they've been struggling, right? There's a lot of kind of news or drama, I guess, with Tesla because of I mean, Apple said they're going to slow down the production of their phones. Well, phones cost $1,000. Morning, Dad. Um, and then what about a car, right? So we can kind of assume the strongest company um, in the world, which is Apple, is going to slow down production. That we can kind of assume that possibly some other companies are going to also slow down some production as well. Not nothing's for sure, but it's definitely something to at least take into consideration, right? There's a and Tesla kind of being that like luxury-ish car. Yeah, it's kind of a niche thing to have an electric car. Um, but you buy a phone, you've got to update it. Well, if you had to pay for the updates, would you update it? That's kind of question you got to ask yourself. And when you have an update on your car, it's tough.
Well, one thing, if Apple shuts down, all their suppliers are going to have to take a backseat too, because they're not going to need the parts as much. So that makes sense.
Right. And they're already facing a supply shortage anyway, so it could be just them trying to help the market out and be like, oh, we're just going to slow down production, slow down the demand production, and it could just be a way saying that a easier way to say that they're slowing down without saying that they're actually in um a supply constraint, right? Which was a big scare during the 2020, 2021, even this year with the whole big everyone's like, oh, where are we going to get all of our shit type situation. Overnight poor lows right at the spot you're describing yesterday at the end of the session. Trap shorts adding buy pressure. Yeah, and I agree with that. So if we take a peek yesterday, what do we got? Oh, we got some time. So if we take a peek yesterday, and I posted kind of my thoughts about this in the Discord, we have a B-shaped profile, right? And a key yesterday was yesterday when we broke the low, because we did extend below initial balance, right? So we got a little bit of extension to the downside, showing some selling pressure, but confirming that these shorts were weak here as we didn't get any continuation after the break. Typically, if we had a bunch of trapped longs up here, we would have seen single prints down here because there would have been a liquidation, but there wasn't a liquidation. You just, really got a bunch of momentum sellers getting trapped, buying it up, and then the market rallied into the close as weak-handed shorts started to cover. Well, today we're kind of running into a similar situation where we're kind of in that low area where these sellers, are trying to break, and um, so far they just haven't been able to. And now we have this poor low, and kind of a 45-degree angle starting to form as the market keeps trading on. Yeah, so good identification, TJ. That was great. We got about 5 minutes here. Let's go ahead and get some Reveille going, then we can do some meditation and we can get the party started here. All right. We got about 5 minutes. It's looking like today the breadth most likely, here's the settle from yesterday. We'll probably get a pretty balanced breadth, maybe a little uneven breadth. The market's opening up inside yesterday's value, which increases the odds of a choppy market early on. And we'll kind of see if there's any opening drive or any push to the downside. I kind of think that we will see some people selling early on or trying to sell early on. Remember, we do have a pretty wide overnight point of control, 17 TPOs wide, increasing the odds that the market revisits that before the end of the day. That's up there at that 59-ish level. And then in re- in reality, I guess I'm really looking for the market to establish above this level here, the 70. I mean, I like this 3660 level here. Yesterday's half back, and it's kind of these prior lows. But I'd like to see the market get above this 3770 and start to establish, and then target that high of yesterday. If it's unable to, or I think this zone is pretty much going to be either a support zone or a resistance zone. So if the market comes up and is unable to hold, it probably targets these lows down here. And it is Friday. So remember, today's not the day to try to gamble everything that you've got throughout the week. Today's the day to take it easy. There's no reason to give back all of the gains that you've made so far this week on the last day of the week. It's just going to ruin your weekend. Remember, there's always another day.
And it's the last day of the month.
Yeah, it's the last day of the month too.
And didn't you say something about being the last day of the quarter?
Yeah, today is the last day of the quarter as well. And we'll start to have earnings season start again October 15th. And we have a big options expiry coming in October as well. A lot of market makers are short the 3,500 level. Two minutes. That is giving P counts before the open. All right, here we go. Markets open. We traded one tick below the open, and we've got a little pop right there, right off the open. Inside yesterday's range. See the breath opens up pretty flat here, a little bit negative, but kind of flat. Pretty mixed here on our sectors. Well, now it's starting to flip to green here. They open pretty flat. See if information technology is able to hold the open. There it goes. Volume stepping up. See if the breath wants to go positive. See, the tick opened up today just right at the 0 level for the most part. 0.36 put call count or call put count. Remember, we're close to this low of balance here as well. Balance rules are still in play. That is actually catching upside here big time. Already up 1%. Apple trying to turn up here a little bit as well. Right to the open, gives a little bit of a pop. Must have been smoke. I mean, it came right back down. Down. It was up. It just went up to 1%. Now it's only up 0.5%. A little selling pressure, right? So little pop and drop. 11 contracts traded on the high. Market got sold off right below the settle. Then we're kind of bouncing up here, little bouncerooski. Computer's being weighted AD is pretty flat, sitting at about 13. We're about to hit our first 5 minutes here into the market open, and we're just about to break the settle. The market's giving it all it's got. Wanted to buy when it didn't break the open, but I stopped ready. Didn't have your stop ready. Yeah, that was a nice fill there. IT's up 0.89. Didn't break the settle there, so a little bit weak here, but volume's still coming in up here. Market really just inside yesterday's value, kind of trying to decide what it wants to do. We saw this yesterday, right? A opened up. It was a very tight range early on. and then boom, it started liquidating. So, you know, the better trades I think will probably come later in the session today. Um, this morning, you know, pretty choppy, pretty back and forth so far. 7-5 calls puts. So they go back below the open here. Pop right back up. Unable to break that Globex low so far. So you kind of see we're trapped in between the settle and the Globex low so far. I haven't taken any trades yet. Still just watching. Ooh, getting some selling in healthcare here. Is good for me. Bringing the market down here a little bit. This will be a T3 low here. Not something that we really track, but see volatility's picking up here a little bit as well. Market's above the 32. This is kind of what we expected early on, right? We were talking about seeing some early selling, and just to see if they can get anything going. We kind of saw them try yesterday, and they kind of fizzled out, were unable to get it. So it makes sense that they, you know, give it a second chance. Which everything's flipped to red. Meta's even flipped right back over. Starting to roll big time. Google's starting to get hammered. AMD's getting hammered. Apple's down almost 1% now. Got into a put. Coming right down to yesterday's balance area low, or value area low, excuse me. Oof. Those. A bit of short covering on that 30 there, but doesn't even, just hesitates for a second and then just keeps going. So all eyes on yesterday's low, the 36.22 now. IT sectors flipped red. Yeah, all of our sectors have flipped red. So pretty much everything that we track is kind of red, is flipped to red, right? Breath is starting to pick up. We even saw the NASDAQ flip back to green for a second. Weighted AD's down. Tick is trading lower. Apple's trading lower. We're below yesterday's value. We're below the settle. We're below the point of control from yesterday. We're below the point of control from today. We're below the Globex low. All of our, just nothing's looking too great here, but this is kind of where we saw sellers fizzle out yesterday as well. So we have to kind of monitor for that. Volatility's high. I mean, we just bounced 6 points off the low there. In a minute. Yeah, AMD got below below its VWAP and now looking to get below that fix. I should call it pre-market low. One in 37. That put call ratio. Apple's trading lower here. Decent little bounce there. Same spot as yesterday. Ripper. I mean, look at the volatility just coming out. This is the kind of crazy volatility response that you see when certain things like this happen. This is why I said today's just gonna hang on seats. So back above the open, just like that. I mean, this is just wild, right? This is kind of, and look, I mean, you see the weighted AD starting to try to go green. Look at the tick. Tick's about to go green. It kind of has that short squeeze feel, right? For me, it does. Like, I feel like, you know, we may have been seeing a little bit of a inventory get trapped
For sure.
short. The same spot that they got trapped short yesterday. You grab that double bottom demand zone. Good shit. Good shit. I mean, we could see the fucking doors fall off here again, like right away too. So it's really just insanity today. Back to the open, a little bit of buying. Look at all the volume coming in above the open here. Looked like they tried to get a little bit going. Only 15 contracts traded on that low. Still inside yesterday's range as well. Tick back below zero here. Weak spot on the profile below is at like 34. So let's see if they 30. Yeah, that's 35 area. 34 half 35. So See if they try to test that one more time, and if not, and they get back above the open, then that settle that A high is a mechanical high, right? So starting to see Apple gas up here. Just fails right at that one. The 50 got rejected again. AMD is trying to flip green. A lot of stuff's trying to flip green here. A lot of buying coming in around this 47, 44 to 47 level. Getting rejected. Dollar's starting to roll over here. Market's struggling a little bit here. That weak spot 38. Another spot to watch here. A lot of stuff trying to go green here, it looks like. Market's just really sitting right at its open. Tech sector is green here. Healthcare just flipped back to red. Healthcare is right at its open, basically flat. I'll put there at 7-8, so getting back to balance. Market tries to head lower. Very volatile this morning. Very volatile. Watch this 33 level here. Look to see if volume's going to move down here below. If not, you can kind of bounce here.
A great picture on the 1 minute of what a battle of inventory looks like. Very clear. Breaks down, got a little box of 1 minute candles. They get scared, breaks up, got a little box of 1 minute candles, breaks back down. If anybody is curious what that looks like.
Yeah, I'll show it. I see it too. Let me add the close real quick and then.
It's very close like that, but just shows the battle zone.
So what TJ's talking about here is this. So he's talking about here, we see the market moves down and you get a little battle of inventory, right? Buyers are present, buyers are present. It breaks up, shorts start to cover, right? Momentum shorts that got trapped at the low start to cover, right? As people start taking profit here, you start to see buyers present, buyers disappear. It kind of breaks down and it's kind of just holding here. And so you can see inventory here comes up, it's out here, right? So the buyers that won the battle here, they come out and they start dumping all their inventory here, and then momentum sellers try it again. Why is it? You said market effect Florida hammered the hurricane, unexpected turn in path, and much feet high flooding from rainfall alone made it worse than expected. Luckily, I'm just worth of the worst. Well, we're glad to hear you're safe, man. Yeah, I mean, and be careful down there. You know, I know a lot of you fucking Floridians, is that what you guys are called? Are crazy people, right? You're like hurricane. I'll stay. You know what I mean? Like I mean, you see, at least that's what I see on the news. Like, you know, people are like, "Oh, hurricane, fuck." I'll get a chair out, get a fucking American flag out, and get a fucking Pabst Blue Ribbon, and just take a seat and watch the action. You know, that's the Floridian way. Let me know if I'm butchering that. What you guys call yourselves, but
No,
Exactly.
it's Floridian, but yeah, there's
Floridian.
definitely hurricane parties going on.
Yeah,
You
I
know, that's
mean,
where I'm from.
yeah,
You know, originally.
you guys are crazy.
Oh, they were selling cakes. It was floating all around Florida social media. Hurricane cakes at Publix.
People love
You know?
Publix too down there.
Oh, Publix is awesome. I
Yeah,
still have to get a Publix sub when I go home.
yeah, people love Publix, man. Like I worked with a girl, her husband was from Florida, and man, she'd be like, man, I wish they had Publix here. Publix is so good. All the time she'd be talking about. So funny.
Yeah, Publix is a Florida staple. You come down here, that's where you're going to get groceries.
BJ, you're in Miami? No flooding? Oh, just flooding, no hurricane? Yeah. Yeah, stay safe, man. I mean, no reason to risk it. There it goes. Look at that. They got him. Top of the settle. So now that they fixed that kind of mechanical high, right at that T2 low. This is kind of getting into the area that's going to either act as support or resistance. This 70 versus this kind of um 70 to like 54 quarter. I mean, we could just use the settle here, but I think 70 is the area where we drew our little equilibrium. Floridian. There we go. I got it now. I would never get it unless Peter said it. Honestly, I would say Floridian. I mean, that's just how I read that. Very um, phonetic. Roach, how'd your job go yesterday? I know you did. You guys did some pouring yesterday. Are you guys over there pouring on Kaiser? I saw some people pouring some fresh concrete. They're pouring like a parking lot over there on Kaiser.
we get over this 66, I would think we're gonna have some more stops come out.
Old Forge came out good. Good. What'd you say, TJ? The 64?
Kind of that 66-ish, just
Okay.
that general.
We just seen the breath do a flip flop here, and a lot of times in this kind of indication, an early flip flop in the market typically is a sign of a reversal, right? We have kind of a look down, they failed it, and then it's off to the races. Now it's just like, how long can we hold it before it pulls back on us here? Next spot. Must have missed this yesterday. You lost power for a few hours, but that's all. Well, glad to hear that you're safe, man. It sucks going through something like that. We had a couple years ago where my brother lives at up in the Santa Cruz Mountains. There's all these fires, and they had to evacuate. It's pretty scary stuff. And the house my brother lives in, his grandfather built the house with his hands, so it's like, you're not just losing a house and the insurance pays for it. You're losing, something a lot more special than that too. Thankfully, the house didn't burn down. So, but I mean, it was kind of scary. Now we're prepared as fuck too. Now there's sprinklers everywhere. There's like I don't even know how many gallon fucking water things my brother has, and he has a fire hose. He said if there is another fire up there, he's not leaving. He'll put it out himself, at least around his house. Said, let me get all your shoes before you do that, just in case. We're back to that Globex point of control. Now we're hitting up above value area high from yesterday. Let's see if there's a little bit of a response here if these sellers want to try to re-short. But this kind of has a look below balance and fail kind of feel so far, especially as the breath has switched to positive here. You got a call count in AMD. Apple's trying to take the high here.
Brad, you can just tell me to be quiet whenever you want. But I was just gonna say,
All right,
for
be
anyone
quiet.
learning,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
all right, I'm ready.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, anyone trying to learn how to like track inventory, those boxes that Brad was showing on the 1 minute, how we broke down. That first breakdown was the overnight low. Then supply runs out, all the shorts start running for the supply, so it comes up. It created that second box he made, and then if you look when it broke back down, there's two candles at the 948 and the 949. Those balance exactly at the top of that bottom box. And that just shows you that there were still shorts trapped in that bottom box. So as soon as it got back to where they had FOMO'd in late, they're immediately, once they're getting back to break even, they're buying back their position. It creates that response back up. So I'm not necessarily trading that, but you can see that in the candles, the supply running out. So when you get back up toward that top box, once it breaks the high of that top box, that gave up right there. And then that next big green candle is all the stops coming out from those people right there, and just furthering inventory correction. So that's how I track it. That's what I was just watching in my brain, just to help anybody that's learning.
Thanks, CJ. Yeah, and I'll never. I mean, that we're all here to learn and grow together. So there's no. Don't ever feel like you don't want to say something, or Always say. Meta's kind of rolling over here a little bit, kind of at a crucial spot here, but didn't make a higher high with the market there. Back to the settle. Microsoft doing kind of the same idea here, is coming back down, but everything's kind of turning down quick here. AMD's
Yep.
rolling over, Apple's rolling over, Bitcoin's trying to roll over as well.
Yeah, I think they need to break this 66 if they want to get continued upside. Got VWAP right here too.
Yeah.
7.5.
A peer is
I got-
gone? Damn.
I got the last mark at 58.75. Looks like B period stopped right there.
Yeah, right at the last. Weighted AD's coming back down. We're seeing a decent mix here, but it does look like a little bit of short covering. 48. A little bit of shorts start covering on that 48 there. Starting to see some stuff try to move lower here, though. Apple's pulling right back to its VWAP. We're still inside A period, right? So we're still kind of looking at this balance kind of feel here so far. And remember early on, we had an A high that was mechanical. Market fixed it up. Now we've got a B high that's mechanical. Market had to auction lower to find the buyers. We got that response at the low of balance and opted fix that weak high. So let's see. That'll be kind of a measure of the strength here. Setting in an early mechanical high reference that holds, especially if it holds into the next period. I know we just started, we've still got 27 minutes until C period. But if it starts to hold up until C period, that shows a little bit of weakness for the market here. So we're looking for that to clean up. And the NASDAQ really is not looking as strong as the overall market. Higher lows though. There you go. There's a little pop in the NASDAQ finally.
We back test the top of that higher box, so we'll see if that holds. If it does, it just shows some people are still trapped.
TJ, you're gonna have to get with my uncle and start fucking algoing this thought process. Call it TJ's boxes.
Boxing. TJ Boxing.
There you go, TJ boxing. Michigan consumer sentiment, 58.6, expected 59.5. So that's actually like a bad news, good news type situation. And we're kind of in that feel, right? When we've got a VIX that's up above 30, you've got the fear in the market, volatility in the market, gives you that good news is bad news type of feel, right? They get bad news and like, oh, okay, we get bad news. That means that the market's doing what it's supposed to be doing here. Another great episode yesterday on the Tasty trade. Does anyone know what this is? This guy posts this in the Discord like every day, and I don't know if he's in here, Jim. If you're in here, I'd love to have you on to kind of explain to us what this is, right? I see you post it every day. I have no idea what it means. I see the times of the day here, and I see, we've got some that are hitting, way out here at the edges, some that are kind of on this inner circle. So, if you're out there, Jim, and you'd like to come on to the channel one of these days and give us a lesson on that, I'd be more than welcome to try to understand something like that. Starting to see the breath pick up here a little bit. Starting to see the weighted AD try to come up and then protect it right. This 142.11 level that I have here on Apple has just been such a big level. I mean, going back, we've had so much interaction with this level. If Apple's able to stay above it, there could be some good upside. Getting we want Jim. Yeah, I mean, if he knows how to explain it, that'd be great. A lot of times people have tools that they don't know how to use, and that just kind of defeats the purpose, right? Like, it's like the order flow chart, right? A lot of people, they like the order flow chart because it's so cool and it's like an x-ray machine, but if you don't know how to use it, it's not really very helpful. And if more or less, it's detrimental, right? Like, if you don't know how to fucking nail how to frame a house with a hammer and nails, having a nail gun is not really going to be that helpful and could actually be a little bit more dangerous. It's a pay service. I'll look into it this weekend. He posted the website right here, so I'm going to look into it this weekend, if there's any videos on it. Could use a little break from the course. The course is I'm in. Right down to the cash VWAP here, 45, and kind of rejected, pretty much that high right there was like that 57. That was the 24-hour VWAP. So we're kind of back and forth here in between these two.
One scenario I kind of have in my head is you still have that initial balance zone with like 60 being the bottom. Peaked below, traded to the other side, peaked above, couldn't fill the gap, traded back below, and we opened below in that same area. So it could easily be like a back test of that balance zone and then continue lower, because we are right here at that 60 with the VWAP.
Right.
If we don't fire stuff up.
And then look for it to test the 40, you think? If it doesn't hold.
Yeah, I'm just, it's easy for me to be like, okay, once it breaks to 60, it should trade to the other side of balance, whatever.
Right.
But since we are below that initial balance zone, I don't know, I definitely see like all those people from this whole week are in this middle part. And if we can't break up, that's a lot of inventory above us that would have to go somewhere,
Right, exactly. Yeah, Zoe, that's a good call. The VPOC has moved up twice. We've seen it move up what we need to see is price stay above it as the VPOC moves up, and if price starts to drift below it, that increases the odds of liquidation. The bot did a 3-candle buy.
which is adding to the short, right? So
Right.
Yeah, it just means that it's buying more because it's going in the direction where it's cheaper. It's trying to average in. That's the term I think they use.
adding to the short, adding to the short.
I'll just say the bot is very skeptical.
You know,
I have to
oh, go ahead.
because sometimes they buy, and I got to make sure I'm thinking short because you're buying a put, so you're betting on it going down.
Yesterday, I'm gonna cover this up for a second, guys, because I was just doing some back testing yesterday and just kind of looking at things. This is a 24-hour chart. But what I was looking at here, kind of zoom it all the way back to this kind of high. And we could even look at it before the high. We'll just go all the way back to the start of the chart. Market just right at the VWAP here. So we'll just go current. But the air charts is just crazy. So what I was doing is I was trying, I was rereading Jim Dalton's book last week, and they talk about the initial balance, and I know they kind of say the initial balance is old, and I really wanted to get my own opinion on it. So that's what this red line is the initial balance, and it's giving us kind of the initial balance off the 24-hour mark. But if we kind of look at it, right, so here's initial balance, the market trades lower. The initial balance is lower from here. We've got our VPOC shifts down, value shifts down. The next day, we get a initial balance lower. The market did trade higher in the overnight session. We could even look at this on the 24-hour, but it ended up closing lower for the day. So initial balance wasn't able to break the high of this initial balance and ended up closing lower. Kind of the same thing on the next day, except for the next day we had a breakout. Looking at. Yeah, you're having that kind of like all those 1-minute candles kind of bounce off of there. So this is what I was looking at. So we have initial balance, right? This initial balance isn't able to get taken. This initial balance does get taken, but we ended up closing lower. But it wasn't able to take the initial balance of the week. This initial balance opens a lot lower, but trades in above value. It's above, unable to establish value above basically the initial balance, right? This initial balance trades lower, so it's not able to really get anything going. It gets rejected inside this range here. And then here we are today. And so kind of what I'm thinking, and this is just me looking at this as of yesterday. When we start to get balance, I think that is something I might start adding to. Initial balance we know is where shorter time frame traders are interacting with the market, right? They're kind of setting the boundaries of the trading day, and then breaks of initial balance typically indicate an other time frame trader entering the market. So if we have this, here's Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday today. If we kind of have this area here, this kind of tells us right here what TJ was kind of talking about with all this inventory that's up here, right? So we have all these shorter time frame traders up here interacting inside this initial balance, and they're kind of in a situation where if we don't get back up into there and they're able to kind of close out some positions, well, they're going to have to close out their positions, and that can bring the market down. And kind of inversely, the same idea, if the market is able to rally and get above this area, then all the ones that were short in this area are going to have to close out their positions, and that can cause a rally to the upside. And so, and like I said, I was just looking at this last night. There's no real kind of craziness, and I was looking at it with the block letters because it's just a little bit easier to see the open and the close like this. But it is something that I think might have some validity, and maybe as a team we can kind of come up and kind of update the initial balance. Market breaking down the cash here. Maybe kind of update that situation, right? And so, and we have kind of the same thing. So here's the balance, right? And if we draw this, we have like a 3-day initial balance in this square right here. The market peaks above it, unable to really hold, and then as it trades below it, right, you kind of get that liquidation from all of these traders, right? And this was a Fed day, so it may not be the best example, but if we go back,
Oh man, I remember that day.
yeah. So we kind of have this area, right? So we have here's this initial balance. That's kind of a liquidation off of that. This initial balance isn't able to get back up there, so we have liquidation. We form an initial balance lower, so the market breaks out of a kind of a balanced look off of a liquidation. We have our initial balance here. The next day, the market rallies back into where this inventory was at, right? So if we kind of extend these levels over there here, then we have that holiday, the market kind of gapped down back into this low. So we have here this, oops, let me clean this up a little bit. You kind of have this look here where initial balance, I mean, this stayed traded inside initial balance exactly. But we kind of have it here. The market gets above, right? Kind of sets it in here. The market gets above, and then we start to see that short covering gets here. So initial balance moves back into this kind of initial balance range from up here. Where's that area? Right there. Kind of gets in there, and then you have that big pop day, pops back down. I mean, it's kind of like a tracking, just I think it might be an easier way to track the inventory on a longer term basis. Just something I've kind of been paying it. I kind of just started looking at yesterday, and as I do a little bit more digging into it over the weekend, I'll let you guys know if I find anything interesting or worthwhile.
Yeah, that's cool.
$12 and 4 markets come down. That B low is now mechanical, so we've got a B high that's mechanical and a B low. Starting to see the breadth kind of flatten out here. Weighted ADs flattening out. Trying to get a little bit negative. Apple's still holding that 141 level, which is the open. I'll be right back, guys.
Well, TG, what else you got?
So what?
So what other wisdoms you got?
Yeah, y'all let me know if y'all are interested in the tracking stuff. I mean, so far what I'm seeing is we got supply sitting on the VWAP, right around that 57, 3/4, 58. We got supply up there. We still got the trapped, or we had the trapped shorts at the 47. So you can see price would come up, hit supply, it'd come down, bounce off the top of that box that we had drawn earlier. It'd come up and it was just ranging. And then since they see supply there, eventually they give up. The market has to auction lower to find buyers. So now it came down, to that 41. Hold on just a second, buddy. So yeah, we're just in a battle zone. So you got supply sitting at the VWAP. So until we gather enough buyers willing to buy up that inventory sitting at VWAP, then we're not going to trade higher. And if all the people that are trapped short see a bunch of inventory coming into the store right here, then they're going to wait until they put stuff on sale. They're not going to keep buying back their position if they keep seeing inventory come in. So we'll have to see which way it goes here.
Good analysis, man.
Yeah, that was really good.
Try it again here. They rallied some troops. What you'd like to see is this supply here sees all these people running up to their store to buy a bunch of stuff, and they want to raise the price so they get a better profit. Basically. You know, if he's only got 100 TVs and he sees 1,000 people running up to his little TV booth, he's like, oh shoot, raise the price, raise the price, raise the price. You know, if he starts raising the price and then he sees, you know, all these people start running to a different TV booth, he's gonna be like, oh, lower the price, lower the price, lower the price. So you're just kind of watching the emotions. The other thing too is like if this supply right here is really big at VWAP and it stays in this zone long enough, all the people that are trapped short have time to buy back their position. And then all that buying pressure that's holding us up right here is gone because they've all covered. And then we just traded right back through the spot that they were holding up. So you're kind of just waiting for one side to give up or pull their bid or pull their offer.
And that just requires patience. And then execution.
Yep.
So, for all of my men out there that are married to women that have long hair and they get in the shower and just fucking leave that shit everywhere like they're shedding, I just came across this video and this thing called the shower cat. It catches their hair instead of being in the drain. So $14 sticks to the bathroom wall.
Nice.
I just thought I'd share it. I mean, it's a pretty useful thing, and I feel like people struggle with the same as me sometimes. Like, you know, I'm like, oh shit, what the fuck?
Yep.
Thought it was a spider. You know?
Yeah, you get in there and a wad of hair just stuck to the wall.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah.
I'm there
Yeah.
with you guys. Send the link, Brad.
Scares the shit out of you. Yeah, I'll post it to him. I just saw it and I was like, damn, this is too good not to share. I'm gonna buy this. And that's
So,
genius.
Your phone heard you complaining about this probably and showed you. No.
No, I just don't. I mean, I don't really. My wife's got her own shower now. Now that we got our new house, like she's got her own shower,
Nice.
so I don't have to deal with that shit. I just have to fix it if it clogs. Yeah, everyone's got their own shower. I got my own shower. Kids got their own shower. Wife's got her own shower. So
That's a rule for us. More bathrooms than people. And we look for that place.
yeah, I mean, I don't mind sharing with my wife, but sharing the bathroom with the kids, you know, they're just fucking little nasty creatures. Where the So really just kind of bouncing back and forth here in between, and here comes C period. I'd still classify this B high as a mechanical high. Big buy order on the 5,700 lots.
We need this guy to give it up. Give it up. we got higher lows coming into the same spot. So he should see buyers coming in here. Look to get filled higher.
So
ETH is one time framing nicely. It's gonna reverse when he's at 1350 though. But if not, it's gonna shoot straight up to 1370.
yeah, it's coming right into the top of this balance, this 2-day balance on ETH. It's kind of that same balance area that it's been in for a while now. That's kind of like that resistance zone that we talked about last or Monday or Tuesday. One of these days we talked about this area. Still kind of. Yeah, I think you're right, Kevin. If this thing gets above here, there's room up there to just for this thing to unwind, and there goes C period here. All right, now the market's one time framing up. Starting to see the breath pick up here. Nasdaq's really starting to pick up. Tick's looking good. Apple's breaking out above the previous day's close, which is that yellow line right there. Yeah, that's true, Roach. Yeah, that's one thing like I dread is like kids are like they just eventually get sick of you and like, oh man. I don't know. That never happened to me though. Like I never really got like I never got like sick of my dad. I think it happens with girls more often. The root of all evil, women. Right? Says that in the Bible. I'm just kidding. A lot of bids stepping up there. Weekly VWAP's up at 36.77. A lot of things starting to try to pop here. Microsoft's trying to pop. Meta's up 2.5% now. Google's up 0.5%. AMD's up almost 2%. AMD might be getting close to that zero gamma level. It is. It's past it. Yeah. There's that 65. So it's above that 65 zero gamma. This is what we talked about pre-market. If it gets above this level, we can kind of expect some market makers to start to buy AMD, and that might fuel the move higher. See if it holds that level. money is the root of all kinds of evil. Yeah, yeah, I would agree with that 100%. If people cared less about money and less about status, the worth, the love of money, yeah, yeah, exactly. Like if they cared about like the status that money brings with them, right? They would people would be a lot better off, or the world would be a lot better off. Volume's pretty much same as yesterday.
I don't know. Reminds me of all evil. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of serial killers out there doing it for profit. Maybe.
Well, I mean, think about how um Roach, you're an animal. Um think about like um all these rich companies like Apple, Tesla, right? Just to name a top couple that require certain products or certain things and how they're achieved and how bad that kind of stuff is, right? It might not be serial killers, but they kind of are serial killers.
Oh, yeah, when they're using 5-year-olds for lithium mines and shit like that.
Right. So might not be a serial killer in the textbook definition, but
I guess like 72 companies or 80% of all the pollution out there. Shit like that. Like how Cadillac made leaded gas just to make some pain go away and knew it was going to kill millions of people and said, oh, well, whatever. It's profit.
money. Yep.
Or how Ford was dumping their old paint out in the forest, killing Indians, and just even now today the trees still have paint in the in the roots and shit's crazy. What I find super interesting is how what's that company? The one that got busted for all the opiates, but the people didn't get indicted. The company got indicted. That always trips me out. Like the company's gonna go to jail.
Well, what like a pharmaceutical company?
Yeah, I can't think of the name. Um, oh, the ones that did the OxyContin, pushed OxyContin real hard, and somehow the company got indicted. But I don't understand what that does.
Florida is an economic bomb that the entire country will feel. People will need liquidity. Yeah, I mean, I was looking at this. What's the ticker for? Had a little trading places type deal. For the orange juice futures here. I catch a little breakdown to like the 36.60. Can I not find the fucking symbol? It literally just shows it right there. Guess for what the fuck is that noise? Maybe one of my light bulbs is about to go out or something. That shit was fucking driving me crazy. So starting.
Flickering or what?
What's that?
Was it flickering or what?
No, it was like making like a noise, like a kind of like a humming noise. It was driving me mental. Yeah, it'll be interesting, Martin, to see if we do get, you know, these kind of raises here in oil and gas prices, right?
Yes, strategic reserve is gonna be out here pretty soon.
Well, they're refilling it supposedly since gas is at, or since oil was at 80. That's when the Biden administration said that they were gonna um, start to refill the whatever it's called. I can't remember.
I always remember how everybody thought Trump was so smart for filling those filling the reserve at $30 a barrel, talking about how dumb Obama was to not fill them up, and he's gonna fill them up $30, and then like 2 weeks later it went to zero.
Yeah, but then it went to 120. All the people that bought oil at 30, including myself.
That's a good run.
Yeah, it was a good run.
Who would have thought zero? They're actually paying to offload. That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
it was
crazy.
actually it was actually pretty negative for a little while. Like it was below zero for a while. Well, just for the day, I guess, intraday.
It just proves that the supply problem is always, concocted. It's not a real thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's why the market goes, like supply and demand. It can only be things can only be worth what people are willing to pay for them, and then when people stop paying for them, they become nothing, worth nothing.
A lot of conspiracies about this oil or that pipeline that blew up in Russia.
Yeah, there is.
Especially when the U.S. president says they're going to stop it, and then 7 months later.
Got that thin spot right there at the C high. We've bounced off that a few times, so just shows you that there's a few people shorting the A high right there, that they're having to buy back their position. I took a little scalp against that. I'm out already though. 8.25.
Nice. I'm actually looking for the market to come back down to 60 here. See how it acts back inside like the meat and potatoes here.
Yeah, I was looking for that that same spot. And then noticed the bid we had, and then seen the thin spot on the volume profile. I was like, okay, that's probably what's happening.
A little
But you get
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, my bad. Go for it.
A little stair step here on the weighted AD too. So like, you know, kind of shows people started buying, a little profit taking, right? Didn't go back to negative like it started, and then they started buying it back up again, and then we're kind of just, you know, getting a little bit of profit taking here now.
I was gonna say enough people long that area, and it as soon as price gets back to it, you got enough people trapped long that inventory will correct a little further down.
So bounce right there off the 60. They do a little bit of backing and filling here and fill this in and then get above this value here, or volume, excuse me.
You hit that 13.15, just shut straight up.
Yeah, I mean, there's just trapped liquidity up here underneath, like, you know what I mean? Like, you have this balance here that's just been kind of holding for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Got to look above and fail, traded back to the lows, but really didn't get all the way back down to the lows. And this is kind of that level that identified. So nice little move, and then just monitor here to see if it's going to fill these singles up to really up to, well, I guess it already touched that level here. Level up is at 1377. I mean, it's just so mechanical. ETH is trading super mechanical.
It's awesome.
It is. Okay, so we got that nice bounce right there off that 60. Still rolling here. And we're kind of coming into the supply little, like, you know, temporary supply zone right here around this like 70 area. And this is kind of that area that we talked about this morning, right? From this like 54 to 70 is kind of our resistance slash support. So if we're able to establish, you know, above it or inside of it, with upside, then we should be good to trade up. And we're kind of seeing that, you know, overall, pretty decent strength. Apple's kind of cooling here a little bit, but for the most part, when you look around the block here, we've got the Dow Dow's starting to look pretty strong here. Meta's looking pretty strong here. Microsoft looking, um, you know, for, for the most part, right, kind of inside, but it's still looking like it's about to pop up here. Netflix a little bit of weaker than the bunch, but Nvidia's looking really strong, and AMD still looking pretty strong as well, trying to hold this 65 level. But need to start establishing volume up here above this 70 to get this continuation. You've got 8 minutes, about 7 minutes until the next period opens up here.
Geez, sorry, smacking my food. I was gonna say, if anyone wants an example of, now we don't know how long it's gonna last because it looks like it's getting kind of weak up here, but that 1 minute candle at 10:47 that came into the trap shorts. If you just look at the wick on that and just how fast it reacted, that's just a good indication of how you can kind of get a gauge on, as soon as price peaked into that, it's that whole someone sitting on a nail analogy, like boom, they pop right back up. Now we don't know how long they'll be trapped there, but just kind of gives you an inclination of, okay, there's a little trapped right there because of how fast it reacts.
Hold 'em out.
Right, my house is freezing. It's been freezing for the last 3 days. We just had the windows open, not running the AC or anything because it's been so cold outside. It feels great. Is it a lot colder there than what you're used to in like California?
Oh yeah, way colder.
Your body's like probably like, not, I'm not used to this.
Yeah, it's like it's September. Like summer's not over. Summer doesn't end until December in California, and then it only lasts for 10 days, and then summer starts again.
Brad, you going archery hunting Saturday? You go archery hunt?
I never been.
Oh,
Um,
I thought I heard you one day talking about something.
yeah, practicing my bow and arrows, but I've never been bow hunting. I do want to go. I've just never been.
Oh, but you're planning on, like, you're practicing to go hunt, or you just shoot
Yeah,
people for no reason.
yeah, because I want to
Oh,
kill a bear with a bow and arrow.
oh, you want to go for bear?
Yeah,
Jeez, bro.
I want to get a rug for my cabin, bro. I need a rug.
We got a lot of bear around here the last few years. They really multiplied.
Yeah, I seen them in the garbage can over here on Kaiser. I just want fucking. I should
Yeah.
just be able to shoot one right there.
Yeah, you got to put Snickers out and bacon grease. You'll get one.
I want to put. I mean, I always see deer here in my backyard. If I put some deer feed out, I'd definitely catch a bear.
Yeah, they come in for that. Yep. Bird seed. They love the birds. I hunted years ago. I don't hunt.
The sign of the bear market being over is when Brad kills a bear.
And not just kill a bear. I want to kill it with a bow and arrow. Like I feel like killing anything with a gun is fairly easy. Because I'm pretty trained with the gun, but I kill it with a bow and arrow. That's like the test of a real fucking like. Do you guys ever watch that show? Fuck, now I can't even think of the name.
Grizzly Adams.
No. Fuck.
There's a good movie with a bear too, like Reverence or something like that.
Let me text one. It's like where we've talked about it before. It's like where they go like they used to do it on that island, up in Canada, and they've done it all over the world now. But most of the time they do it
British
like
Columbia.
yeah, most of the time they do it up there. It's called like fucking I can't even think. But they get like 20 items. They go out into the wild and like the one dude on like one of the most recent
Alone?
Alone, that's it. Yep, Alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to watch that.
Yeah, that's like that's like the true test
Yeah.
of grit right there. That shit is crazy.
Yeah, I saw one guy there. He was starving to death. They had to pull him, and he had food the whole while. He was saving it.
Oh yeah.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Unbelievable that he wouldn't eat it.
That's because on the first time he was on the show, he didn't have any food and they had to pull him because he was about to die. So the second time he got a bunch of food. They said it's like a condition, like because he's like
Jeez.
Alone with the production crew.
no, there's no production
Oh,
crew.
they got to film themselves.
Oh,
Yeah,
they film themselves.
yeah, they have a camera and like a battery box and shit. Yeah, there's no production crew.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that show.
That book, Richest Man of Babylon, is a great book, and it's even on Audible on YouTube.
Yeah, I've been listening to that.
No, it's
The
great.
guy reads voice just adds so much to it.
He does, yeah. He does, yeah. He's the perfect person to read that book.
Yeah. You just feel like you're living at that time period or something.
Yeah.
So we got singles at that thin spot. Let's see if they hold. Was the thin spot.
So let's see if it closes them. Failure to close them would give us a little bit of indication, but if it does close them, that really just kind of signifies that yeah, it closed them. So that just kind of lets us know that that was just short-term inventory getting a little bit too short at the highs, which can happen, right? A lot of times we think, okay, you know, short-term inventory normally gets too short at the lows and the market's got to rally a little bit. Well, the market may have gotten a little bit too short during that C period, and that's what caused the rally.
That's the third big smack off that 70 level. 70-ish. That one candle was like 8 points. And the same thing happened like maybe 10 minutes ago. As soon as it got up there, they just smacked it. We still got our little C single down there
Yeah, one little single.
at 60.
I think I might listen to that today. I got some yard work to do today. I'm gonna listen to Richest Man of Babylon on my headphones. All right, D period getting that high. We're starting to get some volume forming up here, close to this 70 level. Let's see if they can bring it home here. AMD is just on a fucking tear. Even Apple's starting to catch a bid, almost back to even. Netflix coming back a little bit here as well. Market really trying to break this up. I mean, we were just in like well, there it goes. We can
What
hold above
about
70 now.
the mental game of trading? You ever read that one or listen to that?
I haven't.
No, I listened. I didn't finish it yet. It's pretty good. I've been listening to that on Audible. I didn't finish it yet, but I might get that Babylon you're talking about. Try
Yeah,
that.
that's a good one. I don't know if it's on Audible.
I heard a lot about it.
Yeah, I mean,
What's
it's
that?
just, I don't know if it's on Audible. It might be. I listened
Oh
to it
no.
on YouTube.
Oh, oh, it's just free on YouTube.
Yeah, it's free on YouTube.
Oh, then I'll just get it there. I heard a lot of people mention that book. I never read it.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, the book, I'm almost done with it. The book I was listening to right now is called Think Twice. Book 3.
Yeah, he's done a great check. I got in at 1352 to 1365 now.
Nice. And I mean, it still has room to go. ETH does.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay in this long for a while, as long as I can.
Yeah, as it starts to approach that 1377, that's where at least look to take a couple ticks off. The next book I'm going to read is called Fooled by Randomness. Nassim Nicholas Taleb. He wrote the book Black Swan, and I really liked that book, and so I'm going to read this one next. Starting to get a trend day type of feel with the breath here. And look at Apple back to green here. And this is kind of what I'm thinking is that Apple might be over shorted here. We could get a nice short squeeze. So there's the weekly VWAP 3677.
Let's go.
Yeah, so we could probably move our stop up to 77 and just let this ride up to the 90 probably. Would be the next target here. The older one. The strangest secret in the world. Is that what you're talking about, Pop?
Gonna have to chew through this overnight volume right here. Got a nice stop run though over the W and the V high in the overnight.
The nicey breath's picking up too here. Running into a little bit of resistance up here, but this looks like it just ready to give us a little. $54-0. What calls? So we can move our stop up to 78 now, and let be happy with that.
Got the second standard deviation at 84.5. I'd like to see us get through that thing. I feel like we always retrace from there.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna flatten out right here too. We get back below. I'm gonna stop. Yeah, I'm gonna stop at 81 right there.
TJ, when you say the standard deviation, you're talking about the VWAP deviations?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we had one at 71.5 where we kept hitting, and then 84.5.
Nice.
I played that one a little safer because I wasn't sure if it was going to go. But man, I hate when my stats, I have it on points, and normally it shows points, but it's showing currency, and I don't like doing the math on how many points I should get. It's not showing like it should.
Starting to taper off here. Kind of balancing up here at the top.
Too many people short this spot. It's gonna just add fuel to the fire when their stops come out.
I'll be right back.
Look for a pullback. When we get back to the spot, there should be some stops there. Hmm.
I'm done for the day, guys. You guys have a good weekend. The rest of the day.
Kick the heat on a little bit.
I'm in. See ya.
Hey, Peter. Long hardware stores, Steve. Short insurance companies and OJ. I think it might be too late to short insurance companies, to be honest. Right to the weekly VWAP here at the 77. Like we close out longer. If they're gonna get this continuation, we still got 10 minutes until we get that A period open. Did it pick back up? I heard that they downgraded the storm to a Cat 2 or something like that, but I'm not sure if it picked back up or. Nice, dude. Way to stay on the right side of the trend. Yeah, it got downgraded. Yeah.
on this little pullback here, we got that thin spot, like between 72. I guess it depends on if you're looking at the TPO or not, but thin spot on the TPO is like 74 to 76. So when it gets there, be interested to see if there's a bid, if there's any trap shorts. It pops. On the 1 minute candles, it's really more like 72-ish.
Okay, I see what you're talking about. Kind of want to try a little long term right here. See if we can catch a little pop back up to the high. Starting to get a little cooling here in the back up. See if it can pop this 81 hat. And just struggling right here at this 81 half. It's really just struggling to get over this volume. But nothing is really saying that it wants to go down.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is probably just, longs taking profit. So you'll have like rotations down, but I would think it would keep bouncing where people keep trying to short.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what's been happening. Seems like the last two periods. I still have my singles on here. I guess I just never deleted them. Like this is that box from like T2
Yeah.
singles, like 2 days ago singles. It's interesting that the overnight is thick in this area too.
Yeah, from like right here. Right here.
Yeah. Yep.
And this was a kind of a back and forth. Like when we came down below this level, it liquidated, and the same thing up. When we came up, like you had all the longs that were trapped here, and then the next day when it traded up, it liquidated again, but back to the upside this time. This is kind of a spot where you may see, maybe needs to repair a little bit.
Yeah. Just some reference points too. Looks like the first day's POC is right at the overnight high. And the second day of this balance zone's POC is at 87.
$84.50 was called by a guru. Yeah, 90 is where I'm looking for. Yeah. Just struggling up here. I mean, basically sitting like right above the weekly view up at 36.77, and then that 84 half is the high, but just struggling really to get above it. I'm flat now too, yeah. I flattened before it popped up. I flattened. I should close that 81 half. Cool. Blowback's high too from the 27th.
Yeah. Getting closer up here to this 3,700 too, which has been a pretty big number.
Yeah, this 37 has just been like a magnet. $36.97.50 has been the TPOC as we've been balancing at these lower prices. TPOC's up here 37, and it like all right, E period opens up. We get some more single prints here. The breath is, I mean, I want to say it cooled a little bit, but it's still 3-1. 3-1 on the NYSE, 3-1 on the NASDAQ. Tick is still trying to maintain its ground above zero. We've seen pretty much every close on the tick above zero. Apple's making higher lows here. We just look good.
Yeah, that was a fast pop right there when it touched that thin spot on 7.6. Let's see if we can get down a little lower though first.
Getting really tight right here too. For the past like almost 25 minutes, 30 minutes.
Yep.
72 is the pivot point. Yeah, 72 is my pivot point as well. knows? They may have just done what they needed to do here. This might be the end of the day. With it being a Friday, end of week, end of quarter, there is, you know, decent odds that the market does remain in balance as well. So we do have to, you know, understand that. I mean, still have balance area high way up here. Still have those unfilled singles. We still have a VPOC up here that we haven't traded through as well. Gap above as well. Well,
Think it
guys,
was on.
I think that's gonna wrap it up for me. I'm gonna go get some lunch. I haven't eaten anything yet today. Kind of starved. Well, I don't say starved, but I'm just hungry. Um, but yeah, you know, it's Friday. Today's like not the day to give your weekly gains back, right? Don't over trade today. If you haven't got long early on, there's no reason to try to force it now. Let the market convince you. But yeah, other than that, make sure that you are managing risk and sticking to your trade plan. I will catch you guys in the Discord, the TPO channel, or that Lincoln Logs channel if you guys jump in there after I eat some lunch. Everyone else, have a good weekend, and we will catch you on Monday.
Peace, brother. We'll see you in a bit.
All right, sounds good. See ya.
Hey, Brad. Good job, man.